Let's speak plainly. No sugarcoating, no softening the truth. There's a quiet, hidden reason why you feel drained, overwhelmed, as if life itself is extracting every ounce of energy from you. And it's not what you think. It's not the mounting tasks. It's not the pressure of work. And it's not even the issues at home. No, it's something deeper, something that silently gnaws at your existence, your constant availability. Think about it. You're always there, always ready to respond to a message, to take a call, to show up whenever someone needs you. You've been conditioned to believe that this constant readiness will make you respected, loved, important. But here's the truth. It's a trap, a perfect, invisible trap that keeps you bound to emotional mediocrity. Being endlessly accessible doesn't make you strong. It makes you a servant. The more you're available, the less you're valued. It's a psychological law, ancient and timeless. What's abundant is taken for granted. What's within everyone's reach loses its allure, its mystery, and the painful irony. In your desperate attempt to be accepted, you become disposable. The more you try to be there, the less they notice. The more you give your time, the less respect you earn. And this is where the vicious cycle takes hold. You give more to receive less. Now here's a question I know you won't like. How many times have you given everything you had to others, only to feel empty inside? How many times have you burned yourself out, holding on to relationships that only last as long as you keep making the effort? Those people aren't with you. They're with your availability. And the moment you draw a line, when you step back just a little, you'll see who truly values your essence and who only craves your accessibility. This is where the hard truth begins. Respect is born from distance. True peace is cultivated in the boundaries you set with the world. It's not about retreating into isolation. It's about defining a clear boundary between your energy and the demands of the outside world. People respect those who respect their own time. They admire those who can say no, those who are not afraid to disappoint others by not indulging every whim. Human psychology is steeped in this paradox. We desire what we cannot have. The unattainable draws us in, pulls us like a magnetic force. When you become that person who's not always within reach, who values their peace more than external validation, your presence becomes irresistible. Your silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. Your absence is felt more profoundly than any forced presence. And here lies the final truth that cuts through all excuses. Your need for approval from others is your greatest weakness. As long as you remain hungry for external validation, you'll forever be an emotional captive. Every glance, every unanswered message, every act of indifference will hit you like an invisible blow. But the moment you realize that your worth isn't tied to that glance, doesn't depend on that message, something shifts deep within you. True strength is found in the ability to be alone without feeling lonely, in being your own source of validation, in savoring silence, not as emptiness, but as a full, profound presence. Those who master silence, master interaction. Those who are unafraid of solitude become invincible in company. I want you to etch this into your mind. Overexposure drains you. Overaccessibility dilutes your essence. Being available to everyone means being absent from yourself. Every yes you give to the outside world is a no you give to your own soul. And do you know what happens when you live on autopilot, constantly pleasing others? You empty yourself. You slowly fade away. You become nothing but a hollow echo of what you could have been. Freedom begins when you understand you don't have to respond right away, that you don't have to justify every moment of silence. Freedom begins when you stop seeking permission to put your peace first, because peace, that deep, unwavering peace you crave, doesn't come from the approval of others. It comes from the respect you give yourself. Take a look around. You watch closely the ones you admire most. They aren't the ones burning themselves out in the endless pursuit of pleasing others. No, they're the ones who stand unwavering in their boundaries, who aren't afraid to disappoint, who understand that real respect stems from authenticity, not endless appeasement. Being selective with your connections isn't selfishness. It's emotional survival. You can't craft a full life if you're surrounded by those who only reach out when they need something. Learn to recognize emotional parasites, the ones who appear only to drain you dry, vanishing once your energy is depleted. Don't fear shutting doors. A closed door creates space for those who truly matter. Deep connections require space. They require fertile ground, ground that can only thrive once you stop watering toxic ties. Remember, you owe no one the obligation of maintaining connections that sap your strength. You need no explanation for guarding your peace. Self-control is your quiet superpower, your ability to pause before reacting, to reflect before responding, to choose consciously which battles are worth your energy. Most people are ruled by their impulses. They act without thought, respond without filtering. But not you. You hold the power to remain silent when everyone is shouting, to stay calm when chaos runs rampant. In deep psychological terms, this self-control is known as internal sovereignty. It's the power to rule yourself, to remain above the external storms. When you cultivate this sovereignty, the world loses its grip on you. The opinions of others become mere background noise. Social pressure evaporates like mist, dissolving under the brilliance of your unwavering resolve. Give yourself permission to vanish when necessary. Don't explain your absence. Don't justify your retreat. Mystery is a potent ally. People fear what they cannot grasp. They respect what they cannot predict. Keep your answers sparse. Let them wonder. Let them be intrigued. Let them imagine. In that uncertainty, respect is born. True influence isn't about shouting louder. It's about mastering the access to your energy. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to respond to every message, attend every event, or be involved in every conversation. In fact, the more selective you are, the more valuable each of your presences becomes. Make silence your secret weapon. Let your actions speak when words have exhausted their meaning. Make your absence a statement of your values. Remember, the energy you conserve today is the strength you will rely on tomorrow to build your true legacy. Social pressure is an illusion, a construct of collective fear. Everyone fears being left out, forgotten, overlooked. But the moment you shatter that illusion, you become a magnetic force. People can't help but be drawn to those who walk outside the herd, because deep down, everyone craves that freedom, but only a few have the courage to claim it. Today, I'm proposing something radical. Take a step back. Watch the chaos from afar. Preserve your energy like a master strategist preparing for the next move. Do not offer your peace to anyone who knocks at your door. Be deliberate in choosing who earns your time, your space, your essence. True victory in life isn't about being remembered by everyone, but by those who truly matter. It's not about filling every gap in your calendar, but filling each moment of your existence with purpose. Quality always surpasses quantity. True respect is never begged for. It's earned through personal integrity. Remember, you are not a 24/7 service. You're not here to be the emotional lifeline for every soul in distress. You're here to build yourself, to guard your peace as the precious treasure it is. Because at the end of it all, the only approval that counts is the one you grant yourself. Walk with this certainty. Your energy is finite. Your time is precious. Your peace is sacred. Guard them as a knight protects the last bastion of defense, for within that protection lies your true freedom, and in that freedom, your true strength. Now ask yourself, are you willing to pay the price for your peace, or will you keep selling your soul for the approval of a world that will never be satisfied? The choice, as always, is yours. And here I need you to pay close attention, because we are about to venture into a deeper, subtler territory, but one absolutely intertwined with everything I've just shared. The quality of your solitude. I'm not speaking of solitude as a form of punishment, nor as something that arises from separating yourself from others. No, I speak of it as a tool for personal growth, a silent workshop where you shape the finest version of yourself, far removed from the clamor of the world. Most people tremble at the thought of being alone, because in the stillness of solitude, the voices they've been avoiding start to echo. They flood their lives with noise, with distractions, with external affirmations. Not because they need them, but because they fear the toughest conversation of all, the one with themselves. The danger of overaccessibility doesn't just lie in being available to others. It's also a distraction that pulls you away from your own inner voice. You make yourself so accessible to others that you lose touch with your own inner compass. Here's the bitter irony. Only when you dare to be truly alone do you stop feeling lonely. Because true loneliness isn't the absence of external company. It's the absence of your own company. And this is where most people break. They have no idea who they are without the reflection of others. Their identity has been shaped by how they're seen, by how they're validated, by how they're accepted. But when you sever those ties, when you stand alone with only your thoughts, you uncover something fundamental. If you cannot enjoy your own company, why should you expect others to? Look, those truly magnetic people, the ones who radiate an almost magnetic strength without a word, are the ones who've learned to love themselves in silence. They are the ones who've transformed their solitude into a sanctuary, not a prison. They don't seek validation because they've already validated themselves. They don't crave constant company because they're in perfect harmony with themselves. And here's one of the most powerful insights along this journey. When you make yourself scarce to others, deliberately, you gain full access to yourself. You trade shallow conversations for deep reflections. You swap empty validation for profound self-awareness. You become unshakable, not because the world has softened, but because you've become unbreakable. But there's more, so much more. As you begin walking this path, you realize something no one warns you about. Your silence becomes an automatic filter. Without a word, people start to reveal their true nature. Those who came only for their own gain vanish, and those who truly value your essence remain. It's ruthless, almost poetic. Your mere absence exposes the true intentions of those around you. Do you know what that means? You stop wasting time. You stop investing energy in relationships that were never meant to last. Because now, it's not you seeking others. It's the world that starts seeking you. Not because you're desperately begging for attention, but because your energy has become so rare, so pure, that it naturally attracts. But here's the final layer you must understand. Beyond mastering solitude, beyond setting healthy boundaries, there's a psychological principle most fail to apply. The anticipation of value. That is, when people don't have immediate access to you, they begin to mentally construct an image of your worth, which curiously grows with the wait. Waiting feeds the imagination, and imagination cultivates respect. What's scarce becomes desirable. What's reserved becomes revered. Listen, this isn't empty theory. This is pure psychology. Think about anything you've desired deeply. Nearly always it's something that's out of reach, something that demands time, patience, effort. And what happens when you finally get it? You value it more. Now apply that to yourself. When you stop being available at every turn, when you guard your space, when you intelligently choose when and where to place your presence, you raise your value not just in others' eyes, but more importantly, in your own. Here's the part few are brave enough to embrace. You must learn to savor the art of waiting. Not just making others wait for you, but you yourself, relishing the pause before rewards, real connections, genuine opportunities. Because when you chase everything that glitters, you miss what truly shines. The one who is patient is not only strong, they are strategic, for they understand that the best things in life don't come to those who chase them, but to those who know how to wait for the perfect moment to catch them. Patience combined with selectivity is pure dynamite. It's not about closing every door. It's about opening only the ones that lead to something truly worthwhile. Trust me, this subtle shift in focus will transform your relationship with the world. You will no longer be a reactive individual, living to the beat of external demands, but a proactive force, setting your own rhythm. True emotional autonomy isn't about not needing anyone. It's about not depending on anyone. And there's a significant difference. Human relationships are essential, of course, but they only thrive when rooted in freedom, not need. And true freedom is found when you're willing to lose superficial connections in exchange for depth in your life. Now, I want you to ask yourself something with brutal honesty. How many of the relationships in your life right now exist solely because you're always available? How many of those connections would stand if you stopped replying instantly? If you decided to prioritize your space, your time, your energy? The answer may very well make you uncomfortable, and that's exactly the point. Because discomfort, that's the gateway to real transformation. Choosing not to be accessible to everyone doesn't make you cold or indifferent. It makes you self-aware. It lets you focus your energy on the people, projects, and experiences that truly deserve it. Remember, your energy is finite. Don't forget that. Wasting it is a luxury you simply can't afford if you're determined to live a life that's full, authentic, and free. So here's my challenge to you. Start removing your pieces from the game, strategically. Let people feel the absence of your presence. Let the world notice the space you leave when you choose to prioritize yourself. Because only then will you realize a simple but profound truth. Silence isn't emptiness. Silence is brimming with answers. And once you fully embrace this truth, when it resonates with every choice you make, in every relationship you either nurture or release, you'll uncover something that shifts everything. You don't need to be everywhere to leave an unforgettable mark. You don't need to always be present to command deep respect. At the end of the day, true presence isn't measured by quantity, but by quality. So tell me, are you ready to turn your silence into your most powerful weapon? Are you ready to let your absence speak louder than your presence? Because once you cross that threshold, once you truly step into that, I promise you, you'll never look back. And the world? I guarantee it won't view you the same way again. But hold on. There's one more thing you must understand if you want to truly master this invisible game. The delicate balance between your energy and your perceived identity. This is a concept so often ignored, yet it's the key distinction between those who are carried along by the current and those who command it from the shore. Listen closely. Every time you give away your energy without control, not only do you drain yourself physically, but you also dilute how others perceive you. Yes, what you project isn't just what you say or do, but the very quality of your energy and where you direct it. Think of anyone you find magnetic. It's not that they're constantly talking. It's not that they're always in the spotlight. It's because when they do speak, their energy is potent, clear, unstoppable. Do you understand why? Because they protect it. They treat it like the non-renewable resource that it is. Most people live as if their energy is limitless, but it's not. It gets drained in pointless small talk, in worries that lead nowhere, in connections that give nothing but a temporary emotional fix. And this brings us to a vital truth: emotional economy. No one talks about this, but your energy is your currency. You are the one who decides where to invest it. And just like any economy, if you squander your resources, you'll find yourself in emotional bankruptcy. You'll begin to feel the weight of life. Decisions will feel overwhelming. Even the slightest demand will leave you drained. Why? Because you've spent years funding relationships that are in deficit. You've given attention that returned no value. You've chased validation that evaporated the moment it came. The modern world is a silent energy thief. Social media, constant notifications, the addiction to immediacy, to instant responses, to hollow digital connections. All of this turns you into a free provider of energy to systems that will never return what you give. It's like you've opened a bank account for the public, where anyone can come and withdraw your vital balance without your permission. And every single withdrawal, every small one you allow, pulls you further away from your center. That's why those who preserve their mystery, who manage their time with mastery, seem to always radiate magnetic energy. Not because they're doing more, but because they're doing less, on purpose. They don't waste their life force. They don't beg for external validation. They don't dissolve into the sea of overaccessibility. And here we arrive at a topic that's pure dynamite: self-exploitation disguised as productivity. This is one of the most dangerous illusions we've embraced. We convince ourselves that being busy means we're progressing, that by filling every moment of our schedule, we're inching closer to excellence. But the truth? We're simply masking emotional dependence as productivity. We fill our lives with tasks because we can't bear silence with ourselves. We stuff every empty space to avoid the confrontation within. Let me make this clear. Being busy does not equal being in motion. You could spend your entire life running in circles, confined by the bars of social acceptance, and never make a step toward true freedom. Being selective isn't just about the people in your life. It's about the activities you engage in, the thoughts you entertain, the goals you choose to pursue. Think of this as a silent purge. Start eliminating not only the energy-draining people, but also the distractions, the tasks, the obligations you've created to fill hollow spaces. Your focus is your most sacred possession, and wherever you place that focus, there your life will unfold. And no, it's not about building a life void of stimuli. It's about constructing a life filled with meaning, a life rich in nurturing relationships, in projects that awaken your purpose, in moments so valuable they don't need to be shared to be meaningful, in silences that speak louder than 1,000 empty conversations. Now let's dive even deeper. Narrative autonomy. This concept is fundamental. It's about breaking free from the narrative others have scripted for you. Every time you make yourself available to everyone, every time you give away your time without questioning it, you're living inside someone else's story. You're playing a supporting role in a script you didn't write. But when you reclaim your time, your space, your energy, you also reclaim the pen that writes your story. And believe me, there is no greater power than this. When you control your narrative, external circumstances begin to matter less. You no longer react to the world's expectations of you. You move on your own terms, at your own pace. Your story is no longer shaped by external validation, but by the deep, unwavering coherence within you. The peace that emerges from this autonomy is beyond words. It's the peace of knowing that, even as the world spirals in chaos, you are in full control of your journey. And I assure you, this peace is priceless. There is no external recognition that can compare, no applause that can replace it. It's the peace of having built a solid existence, unshakable, one that's not swayed by the volatility of others' opinions or the tyranny of immediate gratification. So listen closely. When you stop being a slave to someone else's narrative, when you take ownership of your story, you'll realize that the freedom you've been seeking was never outside you. It was always inside, waiting for you to silence the noise and hear it clearly. And right here, right now, is where your real journey begins. Not when the crowd cheers, not when followers flock to you, not when you fill your life with fleeting recognition. It begins the moment you decide to walk alone, not because you lack company, but because you no longer depend on it. It begins when silence becomes your ally, patience your strategy, and selectivity your shield. Because in the end, the real revolution isn't external. The real revolution happens within you, in that sacred instant when you choose to stop being a slave to overaccessibility and become the sovereign of your time, your energy, your life. And just when you think you've uncovered it all, the final layer of this uncomfortable truth appears. Listen closely, because this is where it all falls into place. What truly distinguishes those who walk with sovereignty in life isn't just the control they have over their time, energy, and relationships. It's their mastery of something more subtle, the art of strategic scarcity. Yes, you heard that right. When something is scarce, it becomes invaluable. But this isn't about pretending to be unavailable. It's not a cheap manipulation game. It's about becoming so complete within yourself that you naturally become selective with your energy. It's about making your time scarce, not as a pose, but because it's truly reserved for what matters most. Authentic scarcity cannot be faked, and people sense it immediately. They can tell you're not trying to impress them. You're living in harmony with your own principles. And that, my friend, is magnetic in ways words can't fully capture. Because in the end, true influence isn't something you chase. It's something that flows naturally when you live with radical authenticity. Let me offer you a brutal example. Think of the great thinkers, silent leaders, creators who changed the world. None of them begged for attention. None of them kept their schedules open for everyone. Their time was limited. Their appearances were few. But every time they showed up, they made an unforgettable impact. Not because they spoke louder than anyone else, but because they spoke only when they had something that mattered to say. Here's the final piece of the puzzle. Your value isn't measured by how often you show up. It's measured by the legacy you leave when you do. People quickly become accustomed to abundance. Excessive exposure diminishes your impact. But the right amount of mystery, well-calibrated absence, measured presence, creates an image that's unforgettable. It's like the echo of a profound statement. You don't need to repeat it 1,000 times for it to resonate forever. And now I want to take you to one last reflection, one you may not have considered. Your entire life is your signature. Every choice you make, every boundary you set, every silence you embrace, every no you declare, everything leaves a mark. Everything says something about you, even when you say nothing, especially when you say nothing. Now close your eyes for a moment and think, if you disappeared completely today, what echo would you leave behind? Would you be remembered for the noise you made, or for the depth of your presence? Because the answer to that question doesn't just define your influence, it defines your entire legacy. So if this video has stirred something in you, if something within you has resonated like a silent thunder, I invite you to do more than reflect. I invite you to act, to begin today, not tomorrow, to establish real boundaries, to protect your energy as the sacred resource it is, to remove yourself from the noise and begin playing your own game. And if you've stayed with me this far, because I know if you're still here, it's because a spark inside you refuses to die. I want to ask one special thing. Leave this phrase in the comments as a secret code between those of us who truly understand. My silence will be my power. Let it stand as a mark of distinction between us, a signal that you're not part of the noise, but part of the select few who have chosen to take control. And of course, if you want to keep exploring these uncomfortable truths, these hidden paths to a freer, deeper, and more authentic life, subscribe. Not to inflate empty numbers, but so you won't miss the next steps in this puzzle we're constructing together. Because we're not here to entertain the noise. We're here to create silences that will echo for years. Now, before you go, let me bid you farewell in a different way. I won't say a simple goodbye. Instead, I'll leave you with one last question that, if you let it settle in your soul, will shift your entire perspective. What would happen if tomorrow the world completely forgot about you? Would you still walk with the same determination? Think on that. Savor the vertigo of that question. And when you discover the answer, don't say it out loud. Keep it as a secret, as a silent weapon. Because remember, the most lethal weapon isn't the one on display, but the one concealed until it's needed. See you in the next video. Or rather, maybe you won't see me, but you'll feel my echo. Because true impact doesn't vanish with absence. It multiplies.